Okay, we are back and we have a ton of questions to go over. So I'm just going to keep this sidebar slide on the future because a lot of questions. So let's start. I'm going to scroll up to the top here. Okay, so first question for you. Of course, I wanted to mention Steve Bowie said that he also loves Andrew and it makes his life interesting every day. Tom Rusin is asking, here's a side curveball question, but all questions are okay. What is the deal with these cheaper knockoff USB capture devices? Is Tom Rusin is asking.
Okay, so, for a while there, I think it's off now. For a while there, if you go to the Magewell site, which is based in China, there was a great big, yellow caution. Look out for knockoffs. They are all over. And you know what the old adage, man, imitation. It is the best form of flattery. Right there, dead on. These products work so well that even we have trouble with on Amazon, with managing the Magewell brand, that people are utilizing the picture for their dongle and then they're selling something completely different. I think the key there is you just have to make sure you're purchasing from an authorized reseller, that you can always call with us and confirm a serial number, things like that. But they have a list price domestically of $299. If you're seeing them out there for $50, it's not the real deal. And just like the Gucci purse you find doesn't go for $49.
Yeah. And it has to do with certifications. It has to do with support. It has to do with a lot of things.
Are they asking why they don't want an external?
No, I think you answered the question. Someone was just asking, what's the deal with these things, and I think you answered it. Rusin Media is asking, when is PTZOptics bringing a 4K camera on the market? When I get these questions about products that I know about that I'm not allowed to talk about, it's very hard for me to provide an answer. I personally think that it might be ready by the end of next year. We're definitely working on something. We have a camera shootout in 2 weeks. I think I showed a little while ago. I think it's 2 weeks. And we're going to be showing Sony, Vadio, I think just a couple models from Vadio, a couple models from Sony. Panasonic is the only manufacturer with a 4K camera. And we were like, we can't compare because we're just not in that market. We're not in the 4K market yet. We will be soon. There are some really cool features coming out. We do 1080p 60. My answer would be maybe we'll do 4K when NewTek does 4K. So, Rosa Media is asking about the minimum order quantity for blank labeled devices from Magewell.
None.
None?
No, our philosophy is, all of us at MVD, is we want to make this easy for you, the reseller. We're not driven by ego, so we don't necessarily need to. I just want the purchase order. In the end, I just want the purchase order. I firmly believe that when you buy one, you're going to come back and buy 10, and then you'll come back and buy 100. So I might as well make it easy for you to buy one. And my boss, Daryl Spangler, who's our president, totally supports that. So no, there's no minimum order, not on any of our products, not for blank, and not for any of the other products either.
Wow. But there's got to be, okay, so you've got stock of blank if you
That's
need
right.
it? Okay.
And how that started was we have a number of OEMs that use them, and so we have to keep stock for them for replacement, for warranty, for emergency, advanced replacement. So we might as well keep stock for everybody. We're not keeping hundreds in stock blank the way that we would on any of the other products, but we keep them in stock blank.
Cool.
People want to actually have their name, applied and silk screened at the factory. We can do that. There's a fee associated with the setup. There's a minimum order for that to do a run, but it isn't near what you might anticipate. Again, we're going to make it easy. But that's a focus of Magewell and with MVD is the representation. We're value add. We're not carrying 500 different products. We want to. We just want to do the very best that we can for our channel, and we want to look for 50,000 ways to say yes before we ever say no.
You guys are great. You guys are a hidden gem in the video production market and even the distribution market. Because when we do white labeling, that takes weeks because we have to get everything labeled and everything. So we've got we have minimum order quantities for white labeling, and we do that here as well. But that's awesome.
Our boxes is actually really easy because we just pop it off. We can pop the top off and we can put a new top on. And then on either one of these, I state it straight out with anybody. If they want to put a sticker on it and then they end up having a problem with the product, it does not void their warranty. I'm okay with that. We are all okay with that. Magewell is okay with that.
So still going through the questions here. Are there any small format 4K Magewell cards coming?
Small format like PCIe Mini or the M2?
They didn't explain that. That question was from Jeff Keithley. Jeff, if you could explain a little more, we would love that.
If they're looking, I mean, I can answer it either way. I mean, if they're looking for small form factor like an M2 interface or a mini PCIe 4K, the answer for today would all standard PCIe 2.0. There is, they're low profile, but not small form factor.
Okay, no problem there. That gets that one answered. Digital Inc. is asking, can you use multiple USB capture devices?
You can. What we will generally recommend is they have to be on a separate bus. So our dongles don't care, but your system is going to care. We do have people that will use 2 and 4 in a system. We have people that will use multiple cards in a system and then additionally throw on some USB. So you can create this, like Mondo switcher going on here. But it's going to be a determination of the bus of what you're going to get out of it.
Yes.
It's not a limitation of the device.
In fact, this brings me back to a question that I did miss from Mike Latta earlier. Do you know Tom Sinclair?
Yes.
Okay, you know Tom Sinclair. Then I'll just tell a little story because, of course, we have about 10 minutes if we do a 20-minute post show. Tom Sinclair built us a custom PC with a bunch of Magewell capture cards inside of it. It actually has 12 USB 3.0 ports, and when we asked him for HDMI inputs, he just gave us frame grabbers. And then he built in some different cards. I don't know all of the cards, but I won't lie. But it's a giant custom PC, and that brings me to a question I wanted to ask you about, Kate. Can you talk about the do-it-yourself customers and what products are they buying to build their own live streaming platforms?
I think it depends upon the application. Obviously, is this a streaming application? Is it a live streaming application? Is it a video conferencing collaboration application? I'm a believer in baby steps. So I think people should make a minimal financial investment and get confident and secure and then define, and then they'll get experience for what they are comfortable doing and what they're missing. Right? There's no sense in buying a Maserati if you only need a pickup truck. The dongles, the USB dongles or the boxes, this is driver free. This is so simple if you've never streamed before, to throw a Magewell USB capture on and to use any application out there, vMix, Wirecast, it doesn't matter, and even Magewell has 2 very simple applications that are free of charge. And get used to it. And then, all right, do I need a quad? Do I need a dual? Am I going to do 4K? And build on from that for the do-it-yourselfer.
Yeah, and that's how I started, A quick question then, I guess. USB 3.0, is it required? Can you go backwards to 2.0? What happens there?
Again, you can use it with 2.0, but you're only going to get 720. You're not going to get 1080.
Okay. Another question here, and I think you're totally right. I think one of the biggest trends that we're seeing is this do-it-yourselfer. I saw a picture on Twitter. I can't remember what it was. Some guy had 12 boxes of things that he was like, "Let's build this," and he had a dedicated PC. He had a couple Magewell cards. He had some solid-state hard drives, processors, RAM, and he was excited to build his own. And I think that's a big trend we're seeing. Daniel Wright is asking, what would I use on a laptop with a single USB 3.0 port to input 2 older Canon PTZ cameras, their composite S-video? Can you go down to composite or not really?
For us, you would utilize the Magewell USB A06. Hold on, I can tell you the exact model. It's the XI006A USB. It's a 6-channel analog capture device USB 3.0 interface. So not only can we take in his 2 PTZs, but he can find 4 more analog sources, and I got it covered.
Nice. Wow. I mean, and this is the kind of stuff that, I need this, I need that. Well, put this dongle in, put that in.
For government and education, we still run up into analog a lot. Government, education, the judicial market, doing online depositions, things like that. Again, these are institutions that don't have tons of budget to go new, and they're gonna use those old analog devices until they die.
Jeez. So here's a question that we've been talking about here is, can you tell us about HDCP compliancy and working with HDCP in general?
Right. So for those who don't know what HDCP is, this is HD copyright protection to make sure that we're not pirating, particularly from HDMI devices. We have people that tried to take the USB capture HDMI device and take a Blu-ray source in and distribute that movie out. It's not going to work. All of the Magewell devices are HDCP compliant. Then we also have, on the flip side, we have professional resellers and integrators who have rights. I mean, how would Disney use our products? How would any broadcast facility use our products, right? They can't capture their own stuff because of HDCP. So in the world of HDCP, very simply, we can strip out the HDCP gate, if you will, just by providing an additional software to the driver. And the way that we do that from a legal perspective is the type of content that the user is doing. If they are trying to capture content that is in the 1.4 HDCP arena, then they have to sign a contract with us that says, hey, we own this, we're allowed to use this, and we're good to go. We give them the code. And that would be for 2K and HDMI 1.4, I gotta think. 2K sources and 4K that's 30 frames per second. In the world of 4K that's 60 frames per second, then it's a new definition of HDCP, which is 2.2. And in those situations, the user needs to join the HDCP organization and get the permission from them, demonstrate that to us, and we will provide them the key to the gate. Wow. So anybody who has questions about that, they can reach out to me.
Yeah, we're going to have to give everyone your contact information at the end of the show.
It's become a big issue lately, actually, the whole HDCP thing. I mean, I've read in the last week, I've had, 10 different integrators asking, hey, wait a minute, how are we doing this?
Jeez. Okay, a couple more questions. Getting to the end of the post show here. Rudy Engels is saying that Magewell Pro Capture is in the Wirecast gear, and that says enough for him. Rosa Media is now asking, is Magewell bringing a video scaler on the market in the near future?
Not that I know of.
Okay. He's asking just like the Decimator MDX. Now, one thing I will say about the Decimator MDX is that sometimes with certain Blackmagic pieces and things like that, we use the MDX to change our 1080p 60 into 1080p 59.94, which is a broadcast frame rate. But all of your capture cards support full frames of 1080p 60.
Right. And okay, so here's where, somebody like me becomes dangerous, because I'm not an engineer or not even a sales engineer. But within the Magewell line, you can define that. So you can utilize the SDK to change your resolution, to change your frame rate, etc. So, that can be done within the SDK, some of that.
So,
I don't know if that answers.
Here's another question here. Can Magewell cards be used for editing with software like Adobe Premiere?
That's a great question. Again, I love my line of we're not the Cheesecake Factory of the capture card space. So, Magewell doesn't write the plugins for nonlinear editing like an Adobe Premiere or things that are along those lines, like a DaVinci Resolve, etc. And those software applications are not supported under the Direct Show umbrella. But I think that you might see some changes in that as we move into the output card space, but always live streaming, live capture under the Direct Show umbrella is going to be, our area of expertise. Some of our competitors out there do other things where they're very focused on that space, and the direction of support, yeah, they do it, but it was an afterthought. And so the driver's not stable. You get a lot of black and blue screens of death. You might get a lot of motherboard conflict going on. So, if your business is nonlinear editing, get a card designed for nonlinear editing. If your business is video conferencing or live streaming, get a Magewell card. That's simple.
Cool. Couple of last questions here that are coming up. Can you tell us about your service and support for your products? What's the standard warranty? Is it all the same? Is it different?
Right. All the Magewell products have a standard 1-year return to factory repair replace. Domestically, we service that. We are the fulfillment arm for that, so you don't have to go to China or ship to China to have that done. In most instances, we will actually advance cross replace without any issue whatsoever. The failure rate is so low that we can provide that extra level of service. One thing we are dedicated to is a superior customer experience from the beginning to the end all the way through. You will always get an answer to your email or your phone call.
And you guys, because you're just a USB input, you have integration to so many different pieces of software, the same way PTZOptics does with our USB models. Steve Bowie from NewTek is pointing out that Magewell capture devices are supported as inputs in the new NewTek Connect Pro app, as they are with PTZOptics over IP and over just direct USB. Here's a question from Rusin Media. What is the latency of your USB 3.0 capture?
Milliseconds. I don't know the actual answer to that. And then also within the SDK, you can adjust the latency as well. But if that person would like to email me, then I can get them not only the link for the adjustment, which is in the SDK, and that's just not on the USB, that's on all of the devices. And I can get the specific answer.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few here, and I've never been able to tell that there's any latency when there's audio and video paired together. So, it's got to be in the 1 or 2, 3 frames. It can't be much more than that. It's tiny.
It's tiny, but it is different across the products. I don't have them memorized. I'm sorry.
So last question, unless anything comes in here. I know YouTube's there's a little bit of latency there, so ask your questions, everybody, if you got them. Tell us about the most diverse or different project that you've ever worked on.
In my life?
With Magewell in specific, in your life.
With Magewell in specific, I mean, I would probably go back to the NDI stuff, which is relatively new. There's not a lot sexy about a capture card. It's going to work or it's not going to work, and it's going to work well or it's not going to work well. Garbage in, garbage out. So we want really high quality PTZ cameras on the front end of it. But when you bring in something like the NDI, this is world altering, and this is real technological advancement. This isn't a new input or a new output. It's not even a new software application that just does something a little flashier. This is a new world that I think we're entering into. I like personally the way that video conferencing is coming back in. That's how I cut my teeth straight out of college. I mean, I sold compression lab codecs. They cost more in 1990 than what my house costs today. So to see just in my career, not even my lifetime, but in my career, to go to this where it's free, right? And I was actually personally getting a little bored until the Magewell stuff came along. It's like, all right, I know cards, this is great, and I love the company. The product's solid and the people are awesome. And then we start, seeing this NDI thing going on. It's like, all right, I'm energized again. And I think that's something we all need to watch. Yeah,
me and you actually come from similar backgrounds, audiovisual, video conferencing, and now this live streaming just makes me excited. I just love these Friday shows. It's what I look forward to all week. Jeff, we got to answer these questions for Jeff, because I think he asked it before. I'm not sure if he was happy with our answer. Is Magewell coming out with a low-profile 4K PCIe card?
A low-profile 4K PCIe? Is that what he said?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to clarify. Okay, so today, on the market today, these are available in stock, ready to ship. This is the 4K PCIe AIO, and this one is the Plus. So this is a single channel card. It will take in both HDMI and HD SDI. It is 4K. It is 30 frames per second on the SDI. It is 60 frames per second on the HDMI. And again, it's single channel. So today, SDI, tomorrow, HDMI. In the same 4K family this is the HDMI only. This is the HDMI plus. So this is 60 frames on the HDMI. We have an HDMI that is 30 frames 4K. We have coming, back to this AIO, the all-in-one. Today, again, it's 30 on the SDI, it's 60 on the HDMI. We will have an all-in-one that's 30/30. Looking at my board up here, and we have the DVI 4K that is coming, which will actually be about the same form factor, about the same size, just different interface. These are all in the Pro Capture family, so this is all Linux, Macintosh, and Windows supported. The driver for these 4K cards is not integrated into the universal driver for Magewell, but it will be very, very, very shortly. It's very soon.
Can you
totally
mention pricing at all? Ballpark?
I think that probably answers this question.
Ballpark
These are on the market
pricing?
right now. Sub $1,000.
7,000?
No, sub 1,000. So the 60. Yeah, right. I was right. The 3030 is under 500 MSRP. The 3060 is under, it's 900 and change.
4K capture cards for less than $1,000?
On the 30 frame, yeah. Oh, on the 60 frame. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Jeez, that is awesome. And looks like we got a couple last questions here. Awesome answers, thank you. 12G, wonderful. This is great.
Coming.
What a fun show. 12G coming. And then you already kind of mentioned, did you get a chance to mention all of the things that you wanted to mention as far as the future?
The only other thing about the future, the really, really near future, is we would like to see people at Streaming Media West, NAB New York, which we're right behind each other. I think we share a back wall. PTZOptics and Magewell is going to share a back wall at NAB New York. And I think we're going to do government video together because we just had so much fun at WFX. So that's what we have coming up in the, come meet us and talk more in depth. So.
Great. Well, Kate, this has been such a fun show. I want to have you back on, if we can, get the person in the UK who did that NewTek NDI application. Maybe we can get him on the show.
Yeah, maybe you get NDI, or maybe you get NewTek on the show.
Well, I want to get Steve Bowie, if you're out there, I want to get Michael Cornett or Andrew Cross on the show in October to talk about apparently, I think I'm allowed to say this, a new IP integration with PTZOptics coming very, very soon with NewTek. That's all I'll say. That is our show. Kate, thank you so much for being here. It was a great time.
Love it. It was awesome. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.